Good afternoon, everyone. This is BX Sports JEDI Kev. Salute everyone. We are going to break down the play-in, NBA play-in, but before we start, I want to bring in my two panelists today. We're going to introduce a new member to the JEDI Sports family. When you start a family, you actually bring in family. So, with no further ado, let me bring in my two panelists, co-hosts here for tonight, this afternoon. We have, of course, the world-renowned Chef Dan in the building. Salute, Chef Dan. And with us making his debut is Mr. Daniel, Dan the man. Daniel, salute. All right, gentlemen. Salute Gideon in the building. And let's break it in. Let's go with it. Another NBA season has concluded. Regular season is over. Now we have the play-in tournament. And this evening, in about a couple hours from now, we got the Brooklyn Nets hosting the Cleveland Cavaliers. Right now, Vegas likes the Brooklyn Nets. They're a 9.5-point favorite. They're a plus 360 money line and a minus 475 over and under for 226.50 to combined score.
We're here in the infamous reach-in tournament, as Jedi once said. But looking at the over-under on the points total, you know me, I gotta call it like I see it. I'm gonna help someone try and make some money. I gotta take the over on that one tonight. I think it's gonna go over.
All right. I got the injury report here for tonight. Brooklyn and Cavaliers. Jared Allen is out, and Brooklyn Simmons is out. No Seth Curry. He's day to day, so it looks like it might be a game time decision. I think Curry plays tonight. What do you guys think, Daniel?
I don't think he's gonna play tonight. If he does play, it'll be a surprise to me. The injury was really bad. It wasn't a minor injury from what we could see. When I heard the coach talk about it in the interview when he got hurt, he sounded pretty concerned. I think they think they can pull it through, and they're gonna bring him in for the playoffs.
All right. When you say it like that, Daniel, then I might have to agree with you. I think they're gonna. I think Steve Nash is gonna think that the roster has enough talent. They know that Cavaliers are down Jared Allen, who is their premier big man. So they're kind of, working through some other big men who, they have on the roster, but it isn't really the best of the best and who their true rotation and what they'd like it to be as far as in the center position. And when the big man is falling down, that kind of leaves your defense in a kind of worrisome state. We also know that Evan Mobley is also fighting an ankle injury that I know he's come back from, but it hasn't really been, everyone says it. Even though an NBA player comes back from an injury, that doesn't mean that they're all the way healthy. That just means that they're capable of fighting through the pain. And so that's what we see that he's doing right now. So it's going to be a big test for that roster all in all. But like you said, I think Seth Curry doesn't play tonight. If the injury was that bad, I didn't see the game, but if like you're describing it to be, it was that bad of an injury, then it may be in the best interest of the Brooklyn Nets. Even if you lose this game, then that just means you stay in the 8th seed and you fighting for the 8th seed. But that's worst case scenario for you. Best case scenario is you win this game without him and you get a couple more days rest.
Now I will say this. The Brooklyn Nets, as of right now, is Kyrie Irving's playing tonight, if I'm correct. So Kyrie and Kevin Durant together, that is a threat bomb. But a lot of people aren't really talking about Darius Garland. If Darius Garland goes off tonight, they're gonna be in some trouble because that guy, he knows what he's doing. He's already had a couple of games this season where he went off for 40, 45 points. And if I'm correct, is he a rookie or is his second year?
No, this is his third year.
Third year in there? Yeah. So I think they got to watch out for Darius Garland. Nobody's really talking about him too much, but I think he's probably going to do some damage tonight.
Go ahead, Cheddar.
No, I said I was agreeing. I was waiting for that point to bring Garland out there. You know, along with Mobley. You know, Mobley was injured to close out the season. Is he healthy? I think Cleveland could give a lot of trouble with their size. And like Gideon says, also LeVert and Love will be huge tonight. You know, on the wing, do Brooklyn have enough defense to stop those wings and not allow them to stretch the floor? You know, because marketing is going to cause them havoc with their size and length with Mobley on the glass. We saw that, you know, Brooklyn, they're not gonna play the Knicks where they got like 4 or 5, 6 opportunities for rebounds. They're gonna have to rebound the ball and team rebound. And it's gonna be interesting with these wings defenders. If they cannot secure a rebound or second opportunities, can the Cleveland Cavaliers make Brooklyn pay? What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I agree with that 100%, but my one qualifier in agreeing with that is, like you guys said, Darius Garland to me is not the guy to worry about. I think the two guys on the Cleveland Cavaliers roster that I do think you have to worry about is you got to worry about Evan Mobley and you got to worry about Lauri Markkanen, because those guys, I believe, well, Evan Mobley, he's a rookie. So number one, it's going to be his first time ever in such a, in such an environment where you're kind of playing for your playoff hopes and everything. Like, you've actually seeded, but then if you really look at the story of your season, you guys started off great, but then you started to curtail somewhere around the end, and now you're here fighting for seeding. Nonetheless, it's been a great season for you guys because the team is relatively young, but you do have some guys in Kevin Love and Karis LeVert who have been in the playoffs before, have some familiarity there, and can help be leaders and voices to talk to these guys. The reason why I worry about Lauri Markkanen is the same reason for Evan Mobley, is that he hasn't been in the playoffs either. He's never been in that environment. And Lauri Markkanen, his game it's really predicated off catch and shoot. After that, he isn't going to break you down off the dribble. So he's going to be looking to play off of other players. My hope is, well, the thing I'm watching with that game is Lauri Markkanen going to be effective enough to where he's not a liability on the court? Are they going to go hunting for him? Because if not, you're probably going to have to make some substitutions where you may have to put in Kevin Love in there, but then you don't want to put Kevin Love out there for an extended amount of time because he's an aging player. And defensively, that's going to be a liability against this offensive juggernaut in the Brooklyn Nets.
I 100% agree with that. What I do want to say is, what do you guys think when it comes to, so we have this play-in tournament, so it's win or go home, what happens here is what happens here tonight. It's all, they got to leave it all on the floor. They have said Ben Simmons isn't going to play for the play-in tonight or the rest of the regular season. But knowing that if they lose tonight, it could be over, do you guys think that Steve Nash saying he's not going to play Ben Simmons, somebody that's supposed to be a threat, you think that's kind of him showing some lack of confidence in his game? Or do you think,
No, I think Ben is not in NBA ready shape to put her in a high pressure situation. And you could sneak him in on in a best of 7 series to get acclimated. But when it's do or die, I can see why you won't play Simmons yet. Because the pressure, and remember that what was the narrative coming into the season with why he's no longer a 76er is that for some reason he couldn't handle that pressure in the last shot. Or he chose not to. He chose to pass off the ball, and then you put him in a win or go home situation. Personally, I think it's a can't win situation. But if you hasn't been on a first round playoff series, gets best of 7, then there is pressure, but not to that degree of win or go home.
I agree.
I think the reason why you don't play Ben Simmons is because the only player he has some sort of chemistry with is Seth Curry. I think the reason why you don't play Ben Simmons is because the first time he puts on the uniform, if he is Ben Simmons and you are going to want to have the ball in his hands a lot, you're probably not going to want his first game to be a high-stake game. And even looking throughout this playoffs, I wouldn't want Ben Simmons to play in any of these games either. If you've chosen not to play any games all throughout the regular season, not even to acclimate yourself with the team, because practice is one thing, playing in the game is a whole nother beast, and then knowing that the playoff defense in and of itself is an entirely different beast from the regular season. No, I wouldn't want that situation to be had, because I tell you this, regardless of his performance, right? If he plays great, then, it's great and all that, but then it's going to be with limited returns, because we know Ben Simmons isn't offensively gifted like that.
Right.
If he plays bad, though, the media firestorm isn't on Ben Simmons. The media firestorm is on Steve Nash. They're going to ask, what were you thinking when you put him in?
Right. I think one of his biggest problems is still to say one of his biggest problems that we've been discussing from when he first came into the league up to now. He needs a jump shot. Point blank period. He is limited at that right then and there. His driving ability is amazing. Don't get me wrong, but they said he needs a jump shot for the longest, and I think, he's had the off season to work on it, and he's kind of still in the same position, which is why I'm not too surprised that, the coach isn't really too quick to throw him out there like that. I mean, he has to work. So I agree with JEDI when he says, the coach probably isn't really thinking about it too much.
Yeah, definitely. Let me ask this question. Kyrie and KD, they're going to need a third complementary scorer, Brooklyn, to help the load off. Do you see that coming out of a combination of Aldridge and Claxton in the center position, or Cam Thomas? They're definitely going to need that third body to score, because Cleveland is going to have Garland, they're going to have Marketing, Love. They need Mobley. They need another. This is where they're going to miss a Harden, and if Simmons is not going to play, and if Curry's out on the bad ankle, leg, where do you guys see that third option coming from?
It's got to be Patty Mills. Patty Mills has got to be that outlet, and he's got to be on for these next two games. It's got to be to a point where he always is a threat. You do have to guard him beyond the 3-point line, but it's now more so Patty Mills is gonna have to fake the three, drive, get a touch in off of a floater, get some rhythm going. Then from there, you're gonna shoot the threes. You're gonna pressure them with some driving to get some people in foul trouble. He's got to diversify the game a little and help Kyrie and Kevin Durant out. That's the only way that they have an outlet there, because I'm not looking for LaMarcus Aldridge to turn back the clock. It's highly unlikely. They're not going to play Blake Griffin. Cam Thomas is a rookie. I wouldn't count on a rookie. What you get from him is going to be all gravy and all gravy on top, but it's got to be Patty Mills.
Yeah, he's Patty Mills. I agree. Patty Mills is definitely going to have to step in. He's definitely going to have to do his thing, because, let's not forget, LaMarcus Aldridge at this point, he is a veteran. He's considered a vet. But like you said, I'm not looking at him turning back the clock. He's getting older. And when the fourth quarter comes and it really gets down to clutch time, we're gonna need Patty Mills to step in because, like you said, Seth Curry isn't in the game. He's not playing. Ben Simmons isn't playing. So he's gonna have to step in as that other point guard, point blank.
Yeah, we shall see with Patty Mills. I forgot about Mills there when I mentioned that third complimentary scorer. You know, he's got that championship pedigree from San Antonio. You know, you could see he could take over. He easily hit some shots and really, you know, take over a game. You know, we shall see. Brooklyn is a 9-point favorite. Let me start with Chef Dan. Who do you think wins tonight?
Man. I want to say Cleveland because of all the options they have. But something in my gut tells me is that when you have a lot of options, that really means you don't know what to go with at the end because you know it's too much, it's too much in front of you. I gotta go with Vegas here. I think Brooklyn's gonna win this.
Daniel?
I gotta go with Brooklyn. I just don't see Kevin Durant, you know, regardless of how well they really play. You know, I'm not saying the Cavaliers are a bad team. They're a young team. You know, they're a young team that definitely built over the years from, you know, when LeBron and the Cavs, that whole thing happened. They've definitely built from then on today. But Kevin Durant's not going to let them lose. He just won't let it happen. He'll drop 55 if he has to. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I see Durant very, very focused, vicious, ready to go. And they have that just by a toe. They could have been they could be in the 76ers. And Vegas is saying a 9.5 favorite, and it's in Brooklyn, by the way. So also, you know, unfortunately, tragedy happened this early morning in Brooklyn subway station, where, you know, there are going to be heavy hearts on the minds of the players, and that's going to be an inspirational. Brooklyn isn't really going to need it, but, you know, I wanted to say Cleveland to win it because also I'm a Knicks fan. I don't want to receive the Brooklyn Nets. I would love them to go into a elimination game, but damn, I'm gonna go with Brooklyn. I think Brooklyn wins this game as well. I think Cleveland is gonna just sit back and play that elimination, and Brooklyn's on to Boston. You know, and if they win, they're on to Boston. We shall see there. The second game of the night, we're gonna have the Clippers taking on the surprising Minnesota Timberwolves. The Clippers are an underdog by 3 points. The money line is at plus 130. The over and under is 230. That's a minus 150. Remember, guys, these numbers in Vegas is for you guys to bet with your head, not over your head. Be smart, please. We just put the numbers out there for you guys to see it. But over and all, they're calling it 230 points, high scoring game affair there, Chef Dan.
Yeah, it is going to be a high scoring affair. I believe it to be so. I would take the matter of fact, I would take the 230 right there at it. I wouldn't go over or under. I would take the 230. If you want to go over, but I'd be comfortable with taking 230.
All right. And let's break that matchup down. I got the injury report here as of right now. Of course, no Kawhi Leonard. Here's the one that's kind of surprising for the Clippers. No Luke Kennard. You know, Luke Kennard can spread the floor, stretch it out. And surprisingly, Minnesota's going in with a full complementary deck of players. No injuries. So my man, Pat Beverly, will be in there.
Yeah.
And that's that veteran leadership for that young team there.
I agree. Not only that, but, you know, people don't forget, Karl Anthony Towns dropped a career high of 60 points this year against the Phoenix Suns. He dropped 60 points. He's been hot this whole season. That is a guy that you have to watch out for in the paint. but you can't leave him open at 3 either because he will hit the 3. He's going to be a problem. He's definitely going to be a problem. Patrick Beverly, he's already hyping up the defense. You know how he is. He's getting everybody's ear. He will make you fight him and get a technical. So they're not going to be a pushover at all. I think that the Clippers not having Kawhi Leonard is going to be some sort of a problem. But they've learned to adjust to it since they haven't had him really all season. But it's going to be a good game to watch for sure. Yeah, I think the Timberwolves will come out on top. I think they'll come out on top.
Chef Dan, when I know I mentioned Patrick Beverly, my man, Patrick Beverly, I know he's laughing. He knows why.
That's not even why I'm laughing. Daniel, Jedi, I think I'm going to say my famous last words, and it is the most famous last words ever said by someone. You're probably going to tell me don't fall for the trap, but I'm falling for it. MVP George is back right now. MVP George is back right now. I believe in Paul George. Oh my God, those are the famous last words of me. Oh my God.
I tell you, White Falcon will be so happy to hear that right now.
Oh my gosh. Oh man. If we know Paul George's playoff history, we know he usually comes up short in clutch time and needed moments. And especially in a game where Vegas has it as a three-point spread, that means one possession, one shot. It's anyone essentially. Vegas is essentially saying it's anyone's game. Oh my God. I believe in the Clippers, and I think Ty Lue coaches way too well. I think his adjustments are way too well. And as good as Chris Finch is with, that team, and I know they're healthy, my issue is that I don't like, as good as Anthony Edwards is in that he can shoot you into a game, I know he can shoot you out of a game. And the same thing could be said for D'Angelo Russell. Same way he could shoot you to a victory, he could shoot you to defeat. And I could kind of say the same thing about Karl Anthony Towns. I might be able to say the same thing about Malik Beasley as well. They have too many guys on that team that, as offensively gifted as they are, they're not consistent. And so I believe that I believe some way, somehow, Tyronn Lue is going to find the right combination. And I know he's got players out right now, but I think that's even when we see Tyronn Lue at his best. I think we're going to start to see Tyronn Lue at his best coaching in this moment right here, where he knows if he can win this game, he can secure his team some rest time. He could possibly get Luke Kennard back in time for the playoffs, and he'd have one less person to worry about. But also, man, my famous last words. I believe in Paul George, and I think he's gonna get the job done for the Clippers in this postseason game. I think the Clippers are gonna win the game.
Yeah, I can see that, because I can see that
basketball gods bless me.
Because Anthony Edwards ain't no RJ Barrett, so that's why I don't think he's gonna show up.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Daniel, who do you like tonight? I'm actually gonna take the Clippers too.
You take the Clippers? I can't take the Clippers. I just can't. I can't. It's definitely Timberwolves. I'm telling you right now, having Kawhi out the game is a huge problem. Not only is it a problem, but when you're playing against a team that is very offensively strong in all areas of the floor in terms of big man and shooting, and Kawhi Leonard was, if not the best defensive player in the league at a certain point of time, not having him in the game will be crucial. I take the Timberwolves in this one. I think that, like you were saying, Chef Dan, Anthony Edwards is going to do his thing. Karl Anthony Towns, he's going to do his thing. They just have too many pieces. They have too many pieces to not win. Like they just have too many pieces. They're going to win. They're going to win. So
I wish I could agree with you, man. Like I said, but I know if there's anyone that could, with a team like that could, shock the NBA world or possibly just go, you know what, he did it again. It would be Tyronn Lue. I think he could coach a very good game. And my famous last words before we get to the next game. My famous last words. You know, very few NBA fans like hearing this statement. I believe Paul George will get the job done for the Clippers in this postseason game.
Wow.
Wow. Before we move on to the next game, though, I'm reason why I'm rooting for the Clippers to win this game. I do want to see Minnesota get the 8th seed because I do want to see Minnesota go up against the Phoenix Suns. I want to see what the Aiden, Karl Anthony Towns, Booker, Edwards, Beverly, Beverly and Chris Paul, all those narratives, all those names, all those back and forth, Beasley, Cam Thomas, so forth. That's a more sexier match.
Yeah.
And I know that's going to have G Money eating his fingernails if they play the Timberwolves. That's all for selfish reasons. That's all. I'm rooting for Clippers to win tonight, and Minnesota. We'll talk about what happens afterwards. But then Wednesday night, guys, we'll move on to Wednesday night. Wednesday night, the second playing game, we're going to have the 9-10 matchup, and it takes place in Atlanta, where the Charlotte Hornets will go on the road and take on the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks are the favorite in this game, a 4.5-point favorite. The money line is at plus 160, and the over and under is minus 190. 263 points, 236 points, is the over and under. That's a lot of numbers. I'll take the under. And Atlanta has a lot of injuries. No Brown Jr., no Lou Williams, no John Collins, and for of course the Hornets, then no Hayward. And no Nick Richards, and that's it. They're gonna have everyone else. Ball is healthy, Bridges is healthy. Montrezl Harrell is gonna be a pain in the neck there, causing havoc against the Hawks. Man, to see the Hawks favorite there, 4.5. I don't see a Nathan McMillan team.
I don't see it. I don't see it either. I've seen too many games this year where John Collins actually got the Atlanta Hawks out of some pretty sticky situations. John Collins is a huge piece. People need to realize that. And I just got two names for you right now. LaMelo Ball and Terry Rozier. It's going to get really ugly. Because those two guys, put it this way, LaMelo's a rookie right now. He just doesn't care. He doesn't care that first year or second year, doesn't matter. He's going in there. He's playing ball like he's been in the NBA for the past 5 to 10 years right now. He's doing under the leg alley oops off the glass to his teammates, and he's definitely going to be a problem. He's going to be an issue. Yeah. So, I have the Hornets favorite in this game. I have to say that, Jedi. Yeah.
I agree with you 100%, but for a completely different reason. To the point that you brought up earlier, John Collins being out, I think it opens up the floor for someone else. I think the Hawks are going to have to overplay Miles Bridges. And so Miles Bridges, if they don't overplay him, I believe he's going to go on a tear. And it's funny, Miles Bridges, to me, he is the deciding factor in this game, and I just don't see the Hawks having anyone who could contain Miles Bridges. And with the season he's having so far this year, I would not be surprised if this is the game where he puts up a 40-piece and pushes the Hornets past the Hawks. I agree with you 100%, but it's not for LaMelo Ball and Terry Rozier. who I believe they're gonna do their thing regardless. I think the real piece in where they're gonna find out what the Hawks can't stop is Miles Bridges.
Yeah, I can see Bridges causing them havoc. They're down in the paint. Trae Young is going to do his thing with Capella, but I think that this Hawks team is going to be up and ready. Don't fall asleep on Mason Plumlee. I think Plumlee is going to be pretty. I'm not going to say he's a world beater who's going to make a difference, but he's going to be solid. That's going to help them in this matchup against the Hawks. And I think I see Hornets going into Atlanta and coming up with a victory, man. I think they win by 7.
I agree with that 100%. I think that is a possibility. Not only that, when I look at it, oh man, I think the Hornets have better athletes than the Hawks right now. Because they're missing so many people that are pivotal to what the Hawks I'm talking about. They're missing so much people that are pivotal to what they need to get done in their offense. I just don't think it gets. I like Nate McMillan is probably gonna have to experiment with his lineup a little bit, and that means he's gonna have to serve up a masterpiece. And I don't associate Nate McMillan and coaching masterpiece. Those two sentiments that are far apart.
Yeah. I've already made my point that I believe that the Hornets will, favor over the Atlanta Hawks, but we cannot get off this topic without me mentioning these two names. First of all, Kelly Oubre is giving 15 points right now off the bench. Okay, Oubre is giving 15 points off the bench right now. And another name we can't forget, he's not being talked about too much, but he's going crazy right now. Isaiah Thomas is a threat. Do not. Isaiah Thomas, he can come off the bench real quick and give you four to five threes. He had a hot game the other night with the Hornets. I don't remember exactly which game it was, but he had like 12, 15 points in one quarter. And that was his first game, coming back playing with them. So I think that they have a lot of pieces. The Hornets definitely have a lot of pieces that's going to put this game together for them to win. But one of the big things they have that the Atlanta Hawks don't have is Hornets don't have that many injuries. Most of their people are playing. Atlanta Hawks have like 3 or 4 players hurt. That's really hurting them right now. So yeah, I agree with Chef Dan. I completely agree with you. Charlotte Hornets, they're going to do their thing tonight.
Yeah, and we haven't even mentioned PJ Washington, who could hit the 3, stretch the floor. I mean, not having Lou Williams for Atlanta is going to hurt because they can't counteract. Even if LaMelo Ball gets in foul trouble, I'm glad you mentioned Isaiah Thomas, who is a center, a point guard who could play and keep up with a Trae Young. And there's not going to be that much of a size advantage there, maybe a quickness, but still all in all. But when Trae Young has to sit, they don't have a backup point guard that come in here that will replicate almost what Trae Young could give you. Put that pressure on Charlotte Hornets. So I mean, I said 7 points, but it wouldn't be surprised if it's a double-digit win. The more we mention the names for Charlotte, it's like, wow, how did they even stay in the play-in? They should have been at least a 6 seed, in my opinion, because they have talent. They're talented players.
Not only that, I just say this again, as far as the athletes go, when you look at it defensively, if you want to do defensive matchups, I think the Hornets overall they match up so well that the Hawks will always have to be making adjustments to them. As long as they keep control of the game, the Hawks will always have to keep making adjustments towards the Hornets. It's always going to have to be that way because you can either you can have LaMelo Ball or Isaiah Thomas on Trae Young. It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's all about what you're getting from them on the offensive end. But then after that, like if you wanted to slow down Trae Young for a little bit, you always go back to playing LaMelo Ball the usual amount of minutes that you usually do throughout the regular season. And then after that, I'm just keep going to it, man. Miles Bridges, they don't have a forward to stop him. DeAndre Hunter has been having a sketchy season so far. They don't have anyone to stop him, and even if they do, like you said, you kick it to PJ Washington, he stretches the floor and he could run to the rim a bit and create something off the dribble. So there's a myriad of ways for them to get to the basket and even get a basket. That's really it.
No, and one thing I forgot to mention is, what about Clint Capella? Oh, he caused havoc. Well, you have Mason Plumlee, who I said might be impactful, but don't forget Montrezl Harrell. He's a pain in the neck coming in there, on the offensive glass. Keeping back tap, keeping balls alive. Now he's not gonna allow that alley-oop, play there between him and Trae Young and Capella. He is a pain in the neck, battle tested a backup center that's gonna give them problems there. Danilo Gallinari is gonna have to have a huge shooting game in order to stretch the floor, because if not, I don't see it.
Yep.
Yeah, and Trae Young alone himself has the ability, like we've seen many times, to drop 40, 45 in a game. He can just do it. That's the type of player he is. So.
But we've also seen in a playoff game where a player can drop 40, 10 point, they could have a 40-point triple-double and end up on the losing side because the other team they were so they were like a well-oiled machine that day. They shared the rock, and other players on this team, on the other team, they didn't have it that night. Like you said, Danilo Gallinari, he has to have it. Kevin Huerter, he's got to step up. Bogdanovich, he's got to go crazy. So they gotta, there's certain things need to go very well for the Hawks in order for them to give themselves a chance.
Yeah, indeed. So we all got it. Oh no, who took Hawks? Daniel, you took Hawks? No.
Say again?
No, you didn't take the Hawks. We all in agreement with the
Hornets.
All the way. Hornets all the way. All right, so we'll go to the final game of the play-in game. Of course, we got it in the evening as well. Matchup of a 9 and 10 as well. The San Antonio Spurs take on the New Orleans Pelicans in a matchup. I have the Spurs are 5-point underdogs. The Pelicans are a 5-point favorite. The money line is at 175. The over is minus 210. 227 and a half for over and under. So I'm taking the under on that one. And I have the injury report for the San Antonio Spurs. Lonnie Walker III is day-to-day. And for the Pelicans, Brandon Ingram is out. Of course, no Zion Williamson. We know he's not going to play at all. So, that's no Lonnie Walker to no Ingram. Now it's a battle of coaches. And salute to my friend Randy, who is a Spurs fan, a rabid Spurs fan, and I know he's listening to see what we're going to say about his San Antonio Spurs.
Oh, man. I have so many thoughts about this matchup.
Yeah. Listen, Go ahead.
No, but they're all selfish reasons. That's why I can't really.
I gotta say this. Listen, when you look at the Trailblazers right now, when you look at the Spurs, DeJounte Murray, he's averaging 21.5 points a game. Okay, so him alone, he's a threat. He's gonna be a threat. He's been playing solid pretty much all year this year. He hasn't been playing bad. And then when you look here at the Pelicans are a good team too. I think this is probably one of the few matchups that I look at this year and I say, for the play-in tournament, I really don't know who's going to win, because both teams are pretty solid. Both teams are pretty solid. So I don't really know who's going to win between these two. It's going to be a hard matchup. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's a toss up. I'm pretty sure I wish Vegas would have made it a closer than a 5. It looks like even though it's a 2 possession game, but man, I could see that a 1+1 because man, that's close. For the Pelicans, can they take advantage of bringing in a McCullough? And can CJ McCullough put them over the top and win this one playing game? They're going to be at home, which is a big advantage. No Ingram though, but they're going to need their bench to come up huge. Jackson Hayes going to be a pain in the neck on the offensive glass. They're going to need Devontae Graham to have a good game as well. Can they play? Can their bench help in an all-around effort against a really smart, gritty San Antonio Spurs team, well coached? It's going to be in a position to win. It's up to the players of the San Antonio Spurs to execute Popovich's game plan. And they're going to go with a motivation. No, we're not going to let Popovich go out. Even though he hasn't announced his retirement, he's not saying he's going anywhere, folks. But we all see that the ending is near. The end of the line of his coaching train ride is coming close to an end. I wouldn't be surprised. And maybe they want to rally for Coach Pop. Oh man, that's a toss up, man. That's a real. I could flip a coin on that one, man.
Yeah,
It truly is a toss up. It truly is a toss up. I see G Money in the chat saying Ingram will play. He said that Brandon Ingram will play.
If Ingram will play, he likes the Pelicans. If Ingram will play, but I don't think
okay.
Yeah, but he did make up some other pieces. Right.
Yeah, I was trying to look up the Pelicans right now to see if Brandon Ingram was moved around in the injury report. I got some selfish. Oh man. Okay. Truthfully, it is a toss-up, and I do not know who will win this matchup. I really don't know. It's a toss-up, and I'm gonna be watching this game with just watching the game to have fun and watch the play-in. But if I had my druthers, if I truly wanted it the way I want it, I need the Pelicans to win.
Pelican? Okay.
But the reason is, if they win, I would need them to also beat the Timberwolves as well. And I know, Jedi, that hurts you a little, but in the long run, it helps us because it pushes the New York Knicks up the lottery ranking. And that's the only reason why I want the Pelicans to
win. I got you. I was doing the opposite. I wanted the Pelicans to lose. So the big man says, I don't want to be here. You think I'm gonna come back to play here? You guys can't even win a playing game? Yeah, man, trade me to New York.
I mean, but he had the chance to play in the bubble.
There's one problem with the Pelicans right now, though. CJ McCollum is the only person on the starting lineup averaging over 10 points a game. Let me just say that. He's averaging like 22 points a game right now. If you go look at their starting five and what they're all averaging, it's like 3, 5, 6, and 7. It's really low compared to the Spurs. Pelicans are their bench is gonna have to step up. That's really the only way I can really see them, pulling through. But both teams' bench is gonna have to step up because these are two teams where both they have to fill in all their pieces. People like Tony Snell, Jose Alvarado. Which Jose Alvarado, he's been going crazy. If you guys been watching, he's been leading the team in steals. His defense is ridiculous. He has a 3-point shot. You can't leave him open. He can run the point. I've seen. So, Pelicans have a couple pieces that if they utilize them the right way, it's going to be dangerous. 100%.
And Brandon Ingram has announced that he will be playing this game. So you know what? I'm going to be more confident. I'm more confident now because you have McCollum and Ingram on the court together, I think the Pelicans can win this. Also, Willie Green, he's a good coach. Don't forget, I remember that game against the New York Knicks. It was frustrating, but they pushed all the right buttons in what they had to do in executing the right plays to win the game. So I really believe in them, and I think that the Pelicans could win that game. So that would help push my dream forward. Let's go Pelicans.
You know what? I was thinking about that. Also, the draft positioning for the Knickerbockers, and they win. Also, shows that we could win and go forward without Zion. We don't need Zion. He's great. And, he doesn't want to be here. As the Pelicans, we could win a playing game.
I think independent of that, I think he's just gonna leave because
I'm just adding chocolate. I'm adding syrup and sprinkles to the sundae.
I mean, when you realistically think about it, they made all the right, like David Griffin, they have no reason to fire him. He made the right move in trading Anthony Davis for the draft picks he got from the Lakers, and you clearly see how it's working out for them. If the Lakers draft pick conveys for them into a high lottery pick, then they'd have essentially gotten a lottery pick right there. Not only that, but they have their own pick as well, so it really works out well for them. It's just that the reporting is that he didn't like the kitty gloves that they handled him with all throughout his tenure so far, and that he has no indication to see why they would stop handling him the way they do. So I don't know. He may end up leaving. Who knows? That's another discussion for another day. But for right now, just help us out any way you can, New Orleans, in just winning. Let's win.
So I'm gonna just for argument's sake, I'm gonna agree with both of you to go with the Pelicans. Pelicans win, they go on and play. We all liked it. Well, we were split on the Clippers, Minnesota, right? I think Daniel liked it. You liked it Minnesota to win. We both liked the Clippers.
Yeah.
All right, let's go with a smaller hypothetical. Minnesota and New Orleans for your bracket on your end. Who do you think gets in the right to play the 8th seed? It was actually Clippers. I'm sorry. In your bracket, it will be the Clippers against the Pelicans.
Because the Clippers lost against
It's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard. Because there again, if that does happen, and those two teams end up advancing, both sides have crazy equal matchups, equal matchups, where the bench is gonna have to step in. Because here again, we have injuries. But I'd have to go with the Clippers.
Yeah, I like Travis Mann and company coming in for the Clippers. Yeah, I agree. That was that matchup there on that. And Chef Dan, let's say we go our hypotheticals. Let's say Minnesota wins. You pick Minnesota, Chef Dan, or you took Clippers?
No, I picked the Clippers. So it would be Minnesota versus the Pelicans.
Pelicans. Okay, so you're with me on that there. Okay.
If it's Minnesota versus the Pelicans, I gotta say, boudin and blood sausage and beads and all that stuff, the Pelicans will win that again. Let's go.
Oh, I think you gotta stop that. You gotta stop that.
You called big cap on me. Okay. All right. Okay. In all seriousness. Oh man. Oh,
crazy.
I would want the Pelicans to win, but I know Minnesota would win that matchup.
Minnesota's
I know Chris
out by 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Minnesota wins that matchup.
So Minnesota's on its way, possibly with Phoenix, but we'll break that down. Those that are listening to us, we're doing this playing predictions and preview, and then once these two predictions or previews are done on Friday night, Daniel, if you're available, you're more than welcome to come back with on the G Money Hoops report to break down the win. I know G Money is salivating, wanting to talk about the NBA. He's been waiting all season. G Money is one of our fabulous NBA residents here on the program. I can't wait to hear his thoughts. He's in the chat. It's Gideon. That's G Money, the notorious G Money, and he's going to break down. We're going to have this program on Friday, and definitely would love you to return and talk about it. But we're not finished though. Just wanted to just bring that up, just to let everyone who's listening, especially Arizona Card Phoenix on God. I hope you come because G Money is a rabid Phoenix Sun fan. Gideon, right there in the chat with you, is a huge Phoenix Sun fan. I think you'll love to hear his program because if you want Phoenix Suns flowers, well, G Money is the man to water your plants. He loves it. It's not long season. But let's go back to the East. The hypothetical thoughts. We all got Brooklyn advancing. Cleveland, Hornets. That's winner go home. That's intriguing. I would love to see the money line, especially how things pan out in the next 2 days to see what they one possession game or man, what you think on that one?
I would think Vegas has that as a one possession game as well. I agree that's a one possession game. I believe that would be a one possession game. That would be, how last year everyone, knew that for the play-ins, the big money ticket game was the Lakers versus the Warriors. I think that's your big money ticket game. I think that game symbolizes what the play-in is truly about. When you have two young rosters fighting for a chance to get in the playoffs. And I'm sorry, just thinking about that matchup right there, I'm being just a geek of basketball. I'd just watch that and that's how I'm watching that game, because I know some NCAA March Madness type craziness is gonna go off in that game. I know that's how that game is gonna end. That's the only way a game like that could end.
I agree. That's a matchup that kind of like when you were saying the Lakers and Warriors. You can't have two big teams or two hype teams in the news play like that and it not be explosive. It's gonna be crazy. So, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So do you like? Who do you think you like, Cleveland or?
Like I said, that would be a toss up. I don't know because the thing I said about with Charlotte having those athletes on their team, I can't bring that up anymore because Cleveland has some very good athletes. Not only that, but they can match up very well, size for size, with Cleveland. I think Cleveland matches size for size with the Hornets. Not only that, if anything, I think the one weakest link you would have is on the Hornets in Isaiah Thomas, because I believe they have their backup point guard in Rajon Rondo. He can take advantage of Isaiah Thomas on the defensive end.
Yeah.
Not only that, but Rondo is a very smart guard. I think the combination of Rajon Rondo and Kevin Love would just have those guys locked in on where they need to be. I think Rondo is always, he's going to show his worth, and the reason why he's consistently a guy that stays in the NBA around that matchup. And it isn't going to be in anything it may be in a play or one play that decides something, or it may be in something he told another young player, and so they do something and they go, nah, they're going to say it in the post game. Nah, that was all Rondo. Rondo told me to look out for this, that, whatever. And so when I saw it, like he said it, it script came to be, and whoop-de-whoop, because they had those guys. So if anything, oh man, I'd have to take Rondo. I mean, I'd have to take the Cavaliers. I'd have to take the Cavaliers because they had the veterans to help guide those guys to victory. I'd have to take them.
All right, I can see that point. I can see your point. I respect that, and definitely hear it. But I would like. I think I'll take Charlotte. The reason why, because they're gonna come off a win. They're gonna feel in the playoff. You get momentum. You feel you've got that momentum steam going. Cleveland lost. They're gonna be doubt. The way that we were. Oh my God, we were a 4 seed, and all of a sudden we just dropped. We're sinking, and we go to depending how, especially if they get blown out. If it's true what Vegas says, 9.5 point spread, and then Brooklyn, totally destroys them and blows their doors out, and they lose by double digits. They're going to be doubting themselves. They're going to go down here and a winner to go home, get elimination, doubting themselves against an athletic team, a smart ball handler, and no pun intended in ball. As a point guard, setting up his players and breaking down the defense if he can. I know Garland could do the same, but when you win, I think momentum in this type of short series in a playoff playing tournament, I think goes a long way. That's why I kind of lean towards Cleveland. Hornets to beat Cleveland for that reason, just because they're going in on hot. It's like similar to and I know they're two different sports and they're totally two different apples to oranges. But it's similar to when you go to the NHL with a hot goalie going into a playoff. You go with a hot team that's inspired. And last year they fell short of getting into the play-in. Charlotte Hornets. They're going to be salivating on. You know what? We fell short. You know what? Now let's get the job done. Let's get over the hill, over the top, and let's get over this peak. And I think that's why I kind of like Charlotte if they do go up against Cleveland. If not Brooklyn's not there waiting for them. What's your thought, Daniel?
Yeah. I have the Hornets in this one. I have the Hornets. I just kind of like a point you were making earlier, Chef Dan, when you were saying that the Hornets, they just look way more athletic, in terms of athletes than the Hawks. I see the same situation here with the Cavaliers. They just have, not to say that their whole team, when I say their whole team's young, I don't necessarily mean that they're not in the mindset, but they're all they're all moving pretty. They're a fast-paced team. They're a team that moves in transition. Anytime you have a team that moves in transition like that can play good off of the fast breaks, like the Hornets, they like to run fastball. It's a problem because then the fans get involved because you have anytime you have transition offense like that, and that gives a chance for the fans in the arena to get involved, and it just like you were saying earlier, JEDI, momentum. It just brings back all that momentum. So I definitely would say the Hornets would win that one. Yeah, I have the Hornets as a favorite, 100%.
Yeah, with that said, yeah. So we got some interesting playing games. I think this is what the league wanted. You got 4 additional fan bases with the hope, aspiration of seeing their team in a series, a best of 7 series. And this fun tournament style, one winner moves on, the loser has to fight. In the case of the 7-8 seed, and of course 9-8 survival mode. They have to be on survival mode. No room for the weary, and it's fun. I think it's fun. It keeps us interested. And it give us an appetizer to start the 7-game series. Like if the 8 seed, if they like momentum, are their momentum hot enough or get inspired to want to go and dare I say an upset? So I'm personally gonna say if depending how the matchup, be careful with the 1 seeds on both Eastern and Western Conference, because Miami, they have a lot of internal grief, and you get a hot athletic team in either Cleveland or Charlotte. There's not going to be an easy pushover for Miami, in my opinion.
Let's not forget what Miami just did, in 2020, where they not almost beat, but they were in the finals. Literally, not 2 years ago, they were in the finals. They're still here, and they're still knocking on that door. they're looking to win 100%. I think that whoever Miami's going up against here in the playoffs, Jimmy Butler, he's gonna give them buckets. Guy from that just transferred over from Toronto Raptors, can't remember his name right now.
Kyle Lowry.
Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry's gonna give them buckets also. They have a very well built team. Raptors have a very well built team. I think they're going to not be a pushover, like JEDI said. They're not going to be a pushover. They're going to definitely step in and do their thing. I think they're going to go pretty far. I think they're going to go pretty far.
Yeah, and even in the West, depending on the matchups, matchup problems for a Minnesota Timberwolves could be a matchup problem for either the one or the two, one of the two if they win. If you see them giving fits to the Phoenix Suns, I think Phoenix Suns might have just enough to beat them. But it's not going to be it's not going to be a gentleman's sweep with the Timberwolves. That's going to be a tough, hard-fought series right off the gate for Phoenix. That's going to be a tough one. They'll be favorite, but it's not going to be no pushover. And I think they're hoping they get the Clippers because I think they'll match up better with the Clippers or the Pelicans. Of course, we're not even going to give a shot to San Antonio. I'm sorry, Randy, but the Spurs, if they do make the playoffs, that's a 5-game, if at best, gentleman's sweep against the Suns. Give them one game, but that's a tough one. What's your thoughts, Chef Dan? I didn't get your thoughts on either one.
Yeah.
Pelicans won't back down. Let's go Pelicans, baby. Let's go Pelicans. I am still fighting for the Pelicans. Won't back down.
I wish I had G Money here to do the Pelican noise.
You won't back down. I'm doing the wings.
Listen, Pelicans are gonna make it as far as the cat, Karl Anthony Towns. That's as far as they're gonna make it.
Yeah, I know.
Once it's time to go up against them, they're gonna be all right, guys. Come on, it's time to handle business. It's time to.
I mean, but yeah, like you guys said, all in all, it's gonna be some very interesting first round matchups in the playoffs. Over in the Eastern Conference, we know that the Miami Heat, they can be had because we know that there was a lot of fluctuation being all throughout the standings in the during the regular season. So when you really have that going, you kind of let it be known, and you let it be known, not only that, but you see all the records throughout the Eastern Conference. It's a lot closer than it was in previous years, and it's closer than it is in the Western Conference. You see in the Western Conference, there's a lot of this, 2 to 3 teams that you see clear-cut favorites. You kind of see them making a run, and then other teams you kind of wishy-washy on. You see them kind of eliminating themselves in the first and second round. Versus in the East, it's really anyone's game. You kind of just know that somewhere along the way, the Bucks are going to find themselves in the mix later on down the stretch because they have just been comfortable all throughout the regular season. They know who they are.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna make this prediction now, so you guys know. In the finals, it will be the Phoenix Suns and the Boston Celtics.
You got to hear it. So if this comes true, you have to come back on as the sports prophet. That's it. This is your baptism name. That's it. If it comes true, fruition, that's gonna be cool.
I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna stick with that. Phoenix Suns and Celtics.
I can see this out in a scenario where the Celtics could get there. They're gonna play the Bucks. The Bucks, if they get past the Bulls, which I think, and I don't think no one sees the Bulls losing that series or winning that series, to the Bucks. If the Bucks win that series there, that's gonna be interesting to see Bucks. And if Boston's just hoping that Brooklyn, they don't see Brooklyn 7.
After years of trying to get together after years of building and building and building. The Celtics are finally in a position where Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have chemistry that is unbeatable right now. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown together, when they're on the floor, they're averaging at least 40 points or more, 40 points plus right now when they're playing together, starting per game. They're both dropping over 20. Go look. They're a threat. I think that the hardest matchup they might have in the East is the Bucks. Like Jedi was saying.
If they get past that first round, that'd be a great. Both teams, that'd be a phenomenal war in that second round. But we got weeks for that to on the whole unfold. And I know you're gonna go over this intensively with the notorious G Money, because he don't believe in the Boston Celtics, and he'll tell you his reasons why. And I know you guys are gonna have a fun conversation on Friday night with it, because he's a basketball encyclopedia, Daniel. So come with your A game, because the notorious G Money is a numbers guy who knows his NBA facts and numbers, and man, I can't wait. And there he is as we speak. His bold prediction is Suns and Nets. So I can't wait for you guys to debate that on Friday. That's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be. I can't wait to hear you guys there. I'll probably be on the Yankee call, but I'll be listening and definitely would love to hear that on Friday night. Man, and before we close out the play-in predictions, and let's talk about the whole league, the regular season. Anything that Daniel caught your mind on this whole NBA season, in general and whole, your thoughts of the whole season. Something is like, man, I can't believe this so and so. We know we got some coaches that might be fired. We already saw some of the shoes drop. Alan Gentry no longer coaching the Kings, now in a front office position. Guys on the hot seat. Bo goes out in Los Angeles. Anything that caught your eye besides coaching?
Let me just say this: trades are going to be happening this free agency this summer. This summer will be ridiculous. And I think that the Lakers firing their head coach and the fact that they didn't even make it to the playoffs at all, I think that there's going to be a lot of trades on the Western Conference side, just specifically being made. One of those trade predictions I'm going to make now, I do not think that Kawhi Leonard will be staying with the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard signed a 1-year contract. If I'm correct, he signed a 1-year contract when he left the Raptors. His contract's up this year. He'll be a free agent this summer. So I don't think he's gonna stay. Me personally, I don't think he's gonna stay.
That's the first person that says that. Salute, our computer in the building. Salute, man. I haven't seen you in a while, man. Our world's most famous chat. Salute, man. Hello. I hope you're doing well, my friend.
That's surprising.
Yeah, it is.
I would have never guessed that.
Let me ask you this: what's your thoughts? You just know he's leaving, but do you think he's going to go back to the Eastern Conference, or he's going to go to another Western Conference team? Because wherever he goes, a lot of shift the balance of power where he goes.
Say that again.
Well, I'm saying, do you think he's going back to the Eastern Conference, or does he stay in the West? Because where he goes, a lot of shifting of power is going to be in a balance there on conference.
Yeah, that is true. I'm not really sure exactly where he'll go, but I can tell you that just from looking at the Clippers the past 2.5 years, it hasn't really looked too good in terms of team chemistry where they wanted it to be, because what they wanted was for Kawhi Leonard and Paul George to be in there playing together, and they haven't been able to really progress past, the first and second round of the playoffs. And like Chef Dan was saying earlier, Paul George has been kind of choking when it comes to those, those one possession 3 points on the 3 points down, 5 seconds to go on the shot clock. He hasn't really been, exerting and making it happen. I don't see Kawhi Leonard staying unless he's there signed for a long-term 3 or 4 year contract that I'm not sure about. But I don't see him staying personally.
Where's G Money? G Money, can you check for us in the statistician if he signed through? Because I thought he was extended or.
I think he signed through the till 2024, 2025.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he could request. It doesn't. It wouldn't be Uber.
It didn't. No. It wouldn't. Yeah, but it wouldn't. I wouldn't be surprised if he asked out because this is in line with something I said earlier in the season. I genuinely thought that the trade deadline wasn't going to be as surprising as everyone thought it might be this season. I really thought that the crazier trades are going to happen during this offseason due to the fact that it was 2 reasons why. Number one, we knew that COVID was going to hit this season harder than it hit last season, which it showed it did, which is why we have in the Eastern Conference such a balanced display of wins and losses. A lot of teams were ravaged with COVID, got hit with COVID in inopportune times, and lost certain games that they needed to win. Number two, with the free agency not being as hot as it's been in the past couple of years, I think that the trades are really going to happen this off season. And also with certain teams, you see certain players the rumors are already being leaked out that certain players are frustrated with their teams and they already signed the contracts with the teams that they signed them with. They can just essentially go for extensions because players don't want to, the high dollar players, they don't want to forego the dollars that they could get with the teams that they have already. So the new plan is essentially sign the contract and then ask for a way out. It's not upsetting at all because someone is going to pay the price. We know someone's going to pay the price, so teams are just gathering the price, the pieces needed in order to pay the price. I think the crazier trades will happen this offseason. And like you said, Daniel, I agree with you 100%. Trades. I don't know if Kawhi is going to be the first domino to fall, but I do know a shifting of power will happen during this offseason.
For sure.
Hey, you never know. A three-team trade, easily. We gotta find out if the money works still, but they're small forward. Send a power forward. We have a power forward in New York that wants to be relocated. That his wife said she missed living in the West Coast, and we might not want to take Leonard back. We could always send them to New Orleans. Three power forwards going in a circle and around with some picks. You never know. It could be interesting. Very interesting. You brought something up there that just turned a light bulb on in my brain.
I saw there's a rumor that Lakers are looking at trading Russell Westbrook for Gordon Hayward and Terry Rozier. Gordon Hayward signed a 4-year, $120 million contract. This would be second year done. So they say he would have 2 more years left, but there's a rumor that Lakers and Charlotte Hornets are willing to make some type of agreement where they'll trade Westbrook over there to play with LaMelo Ball, because they're saying when you look at it now, Westbrook, they've been talking about how Westbrook hasn't really been playing that great and how the most games that he's played his best is when LeBron wasn't playing. And the reason because they're both ball dominant people. The teams that Westbrook's really thrived on, Westbrook, even when he broke the triple double record, the teams that he thrived on, and when he thrives, he's usually when he plays on a team where he is the one with the ball. He is the main guy, you know. And like I said earlier, Hornets, they run transition, fastball. That is somewhere that Westbrook could play because he's a fastball transition type of guy. You know, right now I do know that the Lakers are over their cap in terms of money. I know they're over their cap by a couple $1 million. So I don't see I don't know exactly how they're going to figure that part out. But I do know that they're definitely trying to make a trade this year, and there's rumors that it could be coming from the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, the Charlotte Hornets, there's smoke to that because Westbrook is an expiring contract. You know, he has one more year left but it's a high number, $47 million. Russell Westbrook, but he is aspiring. I think the Hayward experiment can never stay healthy. You know, with
the Hayward experiment is finished with Charlotte because this is a second postseason where they fought to get themselves in position to at least fight for a seeding, and he's not there because he's hurt. He plays great during the regular season, but he's hurt. And what you're looking at essentially, I think what in that rumor, what Charlotte is looking at is which would you rather have? 2 more years of Gordon Hayward not being there in inopportune times, or just a year of possibly Russell Westbrook? You know, he's going to opt into that player option. It's going to be 1 year left. You're going to have him there. And if it's a good fit, then you could sign him back, not to the same contract, because we know you're not going to sign him to that same contract. You're going to tell him, look, we have other players that we have to sign that come first because they have been here longer than you. You can possibly sign a $20 million contract, you know, maybe 17, 18, closer to $23 million contract, but we're not signing you to $40 million. So that's a possibility there. And if it doesn't work, then he's off your books. Not only that, but you're sending 2 contracts in Rozier and Hayward to the Lakers. With the Lakers, I know, like you said, Daniel, they're over the cap, but that's the price you pay when you sign, when you trade and sign for Anthony Davis. When you get a LeBron James, you know that essentially every year you have those 2 on the books. You're working over the cap. You're trying to spend the least amount of luxury tax possible every year.
True. I 100% agree with that. Quick question for you guys. What do you think one of the Lakers' biggest problems is this year, or what do you think they have to change? Because nobody really saw a big 3 as like LeBron, AD, and Westbrook coming into a season and not making it to the finals, but not even making a playoff appearance, because they didn't even make it to the playoffs. What do you guys see that they would have to change? JEDI?
I think with the Lakers, they're missing guys that want to get there and get their sleeves, roll up their sleeves and get dirty, get the offensive rebounds, get in there, set screens, you know, high pick and roll. You got the best player in the world, you know, make it easy for him, set some hard screens, you know, make him, you know, off the curl. He's very smart and he's not selfish. LeBron is not a selfish player. He will feed you the rock, and if you put him in a good position where he can get you that rock, you're gonna go to the bank with him. So they need players unselfish, and they also need to get athletic. They're a little old. You know, if you wanted to get younger, you could set up, you know, your rim runners. You don't need guys, you know. Be honest with you. You know who would thrive with playing with a LeBron James? Mitchell Robinson. The way he's offensive glass, and he's, you know, the only thing that Mitchell Robinson doesn't set the screen well, but with LeBron though, you know, could feed him the ball in those type of play. Jackson Hayes from the Pelicans, those kind of athletic centers, you know, Montrezl Harrell, those kind of players, and I think they had Montrezl Harrell, right? He played with LeBron a couple years ago. Yeah, that's burning them again. They're missing Kuzma, they're missing Harrell, they're missing that youth that they had there, and they you know, sometimes you think the grass is greener on the other side, and it really wasn't, because you brought in Westbrook, the name stars, so really you had the guys doing those dirty, getting in there. When I mean dirty, is those hard work, those 50-50 balls, guys that are gonna get the court burns, getting that 50-50 ball, diving for the loose balls, going in position there, and just causing havoc, and they're missing that, in my opinion.
It's funny you say that. It's crazy. They need a Montrezl Harrell type of player. They need a Kyle Kuzma type of player. And they need a KCP type of player. All the type of players that they let go in the previous years, I think they need that type of player back into the fold. What I think they're also missing, though, is, like you guys said, a coach to hold them accountable. Vogel was able to hold them accountable for 1 year. But then what happens right after you get the championship? You only give them a 1 year extension. So now with that being said, you kind of just let it be known you don't have a lot of faith in the coach. Kind of making him a lame duck coach. He's coaching year to year for his job. That's a stressful environment. He doesn't have any cachet. So you need a coach where you have the cachet to kind of say, all right, we're going to hold these guys accountable. Because with Russ saying what he's saying, salute to you, Russ. AD's health, he's not going to be there every game. LeBron James is aging every year. He's not going to be there every game. But what you definitely need is a guy to hold those ancillary players accountable. That way, the nights that you have a LeBron, but you don't have an AD, LeBron's load even then isn't that heavy because those guys know what to do when playing with LeBron. And when LeBron is not there and AD is there, it has to be the same thing because they know what to do when he's not there. There's got to be a foundation. But you've gotten rid of all the players that you've drafted. The only player you have left is Taylor Horton-Tucker. Every player that you've drafted has essentially become an asset to help you either get a player or move someone off the books to help you, stay under the float. And that's not supposed to be that way. When you're in the luxury tax as high as you are, it doesn't matter. You're paying the luxury tax point blank, period. So it's all about consistently contending every year. And you got to get right back to that.
Yeah. Chef, man, I agree with you on that whole part, everything you just said. To go back to the coaching standpoint, I do believe at some point in the season, the players on the Lakers team, they kind of tune Vogel out. They kind of tune their coach out because, having Anthony Davis hurt, he was hurt for most of the season. Him and LeBron only played 22 games together. That's not enough time to have chemistry. They did over 50 different starting lineups. Vogel did over 50 different starting lineups just to try to figure it out, down to almost to the postseason. We still didn't have any type of consistency or any type of game plan to really get it done. And that's why the Lakers are where they are now. But when you look at the Lakers team, they are the oldest team in the league, therefore 82 games in a season is very long when you get older. So they have to look for players that are younger to take on those roles because, like you said, Carmelo Anthony, he's going to give you 15, 17 off the bench. But 82 games in the season, you even saw they started to have, LeBron, he's twisted his ankle versus the Pelicans when he dropped 56 points. Anthony Davis was already hurt, so that just makes everything worse. Melo, he can only do so much, unless he gets hot because that's just where we are right now. So I do see the Lakers making a lot of big changes this year. Anthony Davis, as bad as it sounds, if Anthony Davis does not stay healthy and he gets hurt again like he was this year, I do see them trading him 100%. I see them trading Anthony Davis for a lot more players. Reason being is because if the game plan is to have AD and Bron play together to win a championship like they did in 2020, but yet he doesn't play the whole season, he has no value. He has no value to the team. Point blank period. As bad as it sounds, as blunt as it sounds, he has no value to the team being hurt. So I see them trading him if he doesn't step it up this year. I think this year for the Lakers will be the make or break. 100%. I think this will be the make or break year because they have to get it done. It's been 2 seasons in a row. Frank Vogel. Now, when you talked about Frank Vogel, I don't think that all the fingers should be pointed at him. I do not. Frank Vogel, this is the same coach that just won the championship for the Lakers, and now they're firing him 2 years later. I do believe that a lot of the fault goes to LeBron. You have Rob Pelinka, the co-owner for one of the co-owners for the Lakers. He even suggested not to pick up Westbrook when LeBron made that decision. He said that they said we should have gotten DeMar DeRozan because that was actually he was actually one of the offers with DeMar DeRozan, and LeBron said he wanted Westbrook instead. I think that if we would have got DeMar DeRozan, he would have done a lot better. They would have put up a lot more points. Westbrook, like I said, he has a certain style of play that he plays with. Westbrook needs the ball. He needs the ball. He needs everything to be set up a certain way for him to play the way he did when LeBron wasn't in the game. So I do think all the fingers aren't pointed at Frank Vogel. Them firing him, I do think that is. I mean, he was really already on a 1 year. I think he had 1 year left, or that was his last year. They had to.
That was his last year.
That was his last year. So they either had to make a re-sign. I didn't see them doing that after him losing. These last 2 years have been pretty torturous. But when you look at the Lakers roster right now, when you see Melo, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, you have so many Hall of Famers in that locker room that is so much ego and pride in there. You need a coach that will be willing to stand up and be like, hey, we got to get this together. You guys aren't playing the way you need to play. Let's go. A guy that's not afraid to talk to a LeBron and tell him what to do. Like a Tyronn Lue. They need like a Tyronn Lue. When Tyronn Lue was coaching LeBron and the Cavaliers, he was like that. So I think that them looking out and getting this Coach Mark, I think that would be great. I think that would be great because he definitely is a coach that he's not a pushover. They need a coach that will stand up and say, what they need to get done and not be afraid of that. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great valid points there with that. But to see, I don't know, you forgot also to mention Austin Reeves. It looks like he's a player. A good shooting guard under with LeBron taking advantage of LeBron. It'd be interesting to see how well they draft, because the Lakers, who knows, they might end up winning the lottery. They might. You never know. They might end up winning the lottery. Although, I personally think the Knicks are going to win the lottery. For some reason, as I told Chef Dan, it's the first time I say it on air. I have a funny feeling they're going to somehow get rewarded. Even if it's just 3 ping pongs. I think for some reason, I think that they're going to get, because they did, we could save that conversation for a different day. But, I think they're wouldn't be surprised if Lakers end up with the top 3 NBA pick this year and regroup. Because remember, it's about TV and revenues and eyeballs. You got to put these players in the top market.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chef Dan.
They don't get that pick.
They don't, right? They lose that pick, right? This year?
It goes to the Pelicans. I told you, this is the cost of doing business with Anthony Davis. You even said suggesting trading Anthony Davis. I don't think they're gonna do that at all. They might float it around, trying, knowing this front office of the Lakers, they would float it around to try and amp Anthony Davis up to make him, think like, all right, you're replaceable, brother. You're not getting the job done. You need to be a beast every night. We don't need this selectively playing, half heart. Like Anthony Davis, he kind of plays like a prima donna.
Yeah.
And that's what they would do. That's what they would do. But
I agree.
As far as them trading and, or possibly regrouping with a pick they're getting this year, that ain't happening, brother.
Yeah.
This is the cost of doing business for Anthony Davis. You are paying the cost now. You got to reap the rewards prior, but the only way you could keep from paying this cost today is that you had to stay competitive throughout these years. And that even meant not overreacting from the year prior, where you lost in the playoffs because everyone got hurt. So you decided to trade everyone to try and get a superstar to play when everyone is hurt again. No. I think more so than them, you get rid of Vogel, that's fine. But you need an addition in the front office. You need someone who's going to tell certain people to move out of the way. Because Kurt Rambis shouldn't have as much say as he has in the front office. Linda Rambis shouldn't have as much say as she does in the front office. All these leaks coming out of the front office shouldn't be happening. And so you need someone else in the front office to kind of you need someone who's been a consummate professional, who's been in other organizations like the Spurs, like the Raptors, other front offices that have done the job correct. You may even need to poach someone from the Miami Heat. Someone who could possibly be sitting right under Rob Pelinka, where you're promising him the job like, hey, we're probably not going to keep Rob Pelinka for long, but after he gets fired, you're the guy next up. And we need your vision on everything on how to clean things up.
Yeah. Chef Dan, I agree with everything you said except for one part. When you said Anthony Davis, you don't see them trading him. The reason I disagree is because right now the Lakers, when they're looking at their organization, what they're saying is, okay, LeBron is on a time. He's on a timer. Time is running out. The whole focus of this team right now is to win championships, period. So whatever they have to do to get that done, they're going to do that. So if Anthony Davis doesn't deliver, they're going to find somebody who does. 100%. They're going to find somebody who does. It's a cutthroat business over there. You know, the Staples Arena, they are not messing around. If they have, like you've seen with Frank Vogel found out that he was fired literally post-game 5 minutes after they finished and beat OKC Thunder. So I do feel like Anthony Davis, this is the make or break year. I feel like if he has a good season and they do something, I feel like he's definitely going to be there. Don't get me wrong. He is the face of the Lakers along with LeBron. Him there 100%. I agree. But if he's hurt, I see them trading him 100% just because if you're not bringing anything to the table for not 1 year but 2 seasons, you don't know how long LeBron will be playing. You know what I mean? They're trying to bring in as many championships as possible right now because the only time we have is right now. That's just my view on it. That's my view.
Let me come back. Go ahead, Chef.
I just want to say I agree with what you're saying, and time will definitely tell. It's just that where I'm at right now with as far as trading Anthony Davis, the reason why I don't see them like you said, this is a make or break. This could be a make or break season for him. The issue is that you're always going to lose the Anthony Davis trade from here on out. Whenever you trade him, you're always going to lose. Because what you're getting back, you didn't pay that price for. And granted, it was a championship you got from him. And if that's all you got, like, hey, some people only get one in their lifetime. You were hunted for multiple. That's fine. LeBron's possibly gonna gracefully age out, and your probable next your next goal in life is possibly to get back some draft picks in order to draft Bronny James Jr. because you don't want to pay a premium to get him, and you want LeBron to age out in the franchise because he got you a championship. He definitely delivered on his promise. He got the Lakers championship. It's just that right now, I don't think you're ever going to win the Anthony Davis trade, but time will tell on that. I could be wrong down the line.
Yeah. Right. What I was going to elaborate was also with Anthony Davis, if he's injured, there's not going to be a lot of franchises going to want to offer you a player going back in that caliber that will help LeBron win a championship. Although LeBron would, you could pretty say much with anyone that you could be contention because you've seen him, but he's already older to elevate. And in the one team that actually will actually be able to do something, actually it's two teams, but one team is the team that's renting the space in the same building. You know, Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis swap. But then you're playing almost the same type of player. You know, although we were meant, there was a lot of rumors that they were going to both team up. You know, they thought it was going to LA, but can you see? I don't see anyone else or getting equal value back for Anthony Davis. You know, of a caliber that's going to might as well keep him. I mean, I don't know. You know, where does he? You know, if you look around the league, there's not going to be nothing really. You know, you send him to play in Dallas, you're not getting anything back to when you're over the top for a championship. Yeah, it's tough.
Jedi, let me ask you a question. If Anthony Davis keeps showing history like this of being hurt progressively, right? Let's just say he does get hurt this year. Similar situation. It's going to be hard to trade him. Why? Because teams are going to look, they're not going to want somebody that isn't promising player.
Correct.
They're going to look and they're going to say, he's always getting hurt. What can we really do with that? You know? Yeah. That leaves LeBron in a situation where if he can't get somebody with him to win a championship because he's stuck with Anthony Davis, can you possibly see LeBron moving again and going to a different team?
You have the cachet to do it.
Because he's always contractually left the team to where he has the power to do so. I don't think he's signed an extension with the Lakers yet.
He won't. I don't think he will.
And after this year, I don't know if he will. I mean, he may have signed a 2-year extension after the championship, so it would be up after next year possibly. We're looking into that right now, but oh man, there's a possibility where LeBron James could end up leaving the Lakers, on his own terms, and it could be something to where he's enough, it could be a summer of LeBron again.
Wow, guys, you won't believe this. This came out 5 hours ago. Shams Charania, ESPN reporter, has stated that Los Angeles Lakers star LeBron James has agreed to a 2-year, $85 million maximum extension contract.
I saw that.
You saw that?
I just saw that right now. He's 2024. He's a free agent for 2024.
That was today. He just, wow.
I was just going to talk about that right now. I just saw it and I say, wait a minute, he just signed an extension. He's making $41 million and $44 million.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Salute, Chi-Town King. Welcome. Good to see you back. Lakers are probably going to trade LeBron. But they just signed him for 40.
Yeah, this is the other thing too, because
Chi-Town, he just had an extension.
The other thing too is, I know everyone keeps saying any contract is tradable in the NBA. I'm gonna stop that rumor right now for one reason and one reason only. If you thought every contract was tradable, Russell Westbrook was only traded for what? He was only traded for John Wall, a contract just as bad as the Russell Westbrook contract, as far as the numbers. So now who is he about to get traded for again? Who's the rumors? It's Gordon Hayward and Terry Rozier, right? But the only way that's possible is with Russ having 1 year left, and they're potentially trading for 2 years back. So not every contract is tradable. It's under the right stipulations. Sometimes you could get stuck with the contract. And in the case of LeBron James, there is no trade package I could see being seriously discussed about LeBron James.
No, not at that number. Not at the 40 plus million. If you would have kept this contract there and where he was, then you could say, you know what, they could move him. They could be moved, or they could ask him, where would you like to go? What team can you go and play that we could pick up either assets, picks, or a player, that we could bring something back, and play. And I'm not going to say he was coming here, but an example. Let's say he says, man, I see the Knicks, I could be the one piece that pulled them over. Maybe you want to trade me for Randall and the Knicks give me three picks and I'll go play with the Knicks. I'm not saying he's coming here. I'm just using that as an example.
But see, even then, guess what? guess what? Mathematically, the trade machine would block it because it doesn't add up.
Right, but I'm saying before the extension, the money he was making prior to that, you could have.
Guess what?
No, I could have seen that. Before
No,
I saw
it could have
an extension.
before the extension, right? But guess how much he was making? He was making either from like 38 to 41 million. So the trade machine still would have blocked that trade because it wouldn't have worked.
Right. But
you would have had to send. You would have had to send
if money was equal, or in a way where we could send his contract maybe with a Fournier and some picks.
It has to be Randall, Fournier.
Right.
Well, they would have just had to do. They would have just had to do what the Lakers had to do to get Anthony Davis, which was trade basically the entire team. Lonzo Ball, Ingram, all those.
The Knicks are not in that position for that. But
They're
I'm
not
saying
in that position.
In a world like that, that's where would ask LeBron and where would you like to be moved to, and that's exactly how that would work. But now with this extension, no.
You think
the only way that works? The only way that works, honestly, I'm telling you right now, the only way that works is the amount of tampering that had to go on. Because he'd have to let the team know, okay, if you're trading me to this team, I'm only being traded to play with this person. So now LeBron would have to have the cachet to say, here's what the trade package for me is going to be. And then the other team would have to know that LeBron is asking for that, because the only way they'd have to know that is they'd have to have been talking to LeBron. It's a whole lot of tampering. It's a whole messy stuff. And that if the trade was to go down, the NBA would immediately say, I have to investigate that.
Yeah. Salute Hector's in the building. Salute to Hector, Project Nerd HQ. And Heal is in the building.
Salute Heal. But yeah, like we said, that's the only way a LeBron trade happens is if there's a whole gang of tampering. A lot of teams are gonna lose a lot of draft picks.
Yeah, 100%. There's no way he's getting traded without getting back 2, 3, or 4 players, because it's just too much money that's involved. And
too much money, and the class of player is too high.
And again, they're already over their salary cap. So
yep.
Yeah. No, only that he wanted that extension because Bronny finishes out his 2 years before he gets to the NBA. He could go declare.
Yeah.
So exactly the same amount of time that he has on his extension is the same amount of time that his son will be eligible. So then he's a free agent the year that his son comes out. So
yeah.
Well strategized by him. You know what? He won. He already got championship. We already consider him one of the second best or third best player in the NBA history. And now he's make the money, play out, and go where Bronny is gonna go and fulfill that dream, and then you could set off to the sunset. It looks like that's the game plan for him.
Can you guys see
Money, we just mentioned our thoughts.
Who now?
No, I had a question to the chat. we mentioned that we spent a good portion of the program on that. But if you didn't, I think we liked it. Brooklyn to be 7. We like Charlotte to be the 8, and we thought Minnesota and Chef Dan wants the Pelicans in the 8th seed. I want Minnesota in the 8th seed. And Daniel, refresh my memory. Your 7th seed was
for
the Minnesota Timberwolves for the Western Conference.
Yeah,
and your 7th seed and your 8th seed was the Clippers.
No, it was the Minnesota Timberwolves, and then I had them going up against the Pelicans.
No, and you said Clippers would beat the Pelicans. So it'd be
right.
So your 7 and 8 would be Minnesota and Los Angeles in the Western Conference, and in the Eastern Conference you have Brooklyn and the Hornets as the 7th and 8th.
Brooklyn and Hornets. I have Brooklyn at Brooklyn over the Hornets, though, obviously, because
I'm sorry. The reason I started laughing is because you know what the NBA would really do just to get back at LeBron? They'd have some place like Sacramento draft Bronny James Jr. and Sacramento would never trade him and be like, hey, if you really want to play with your son.
San Antonio.
Well, LeBron said LeBron already said himself. He said he's gonna play wherever Bronny plays.
Wherever. So they put him.
If that's people don't realize, like, it's such a strong statement because being a player like that, anything you say, everybody's listening to what you say, and you can move a lot of. He knows he can move a lot of things. He has a lot of power.
Just move the draft.
So when he says that, basically, I'm not gonna say it's already putting Bronny in the NBA, but saying I'm gonna play with my son regardless is like saying, hey, if you pick him up, you got me too. It's like, bring him on over, you know.
And that makes his son the number 1 overall draft pick, which puts even worse pressure on him.
Just think of this. We're in 2 more years from now when Utah is already dismantled, Donovan and Gobert are gone. Utah gets the first pick. I would love to see LeBron will go play in Utah.
Who knows?
He's true to his word.
They send them to like NBA Siberia. I don't know where that is, but
Magic, right in my hometown. In our hometown, Daniel. We got LeBron James. We'll see him on the 408. We'll stop on Cimarron and Colonial, and there's LeBron.
I'm about to check out Tankathon right now. I want to see all the worst places where LeBron can end up.
If he went to the Orlando, oh my God!
Imagine him in Oklahoma.
I just can't see him. Yeah.
Well, Kevin Durant played there, so he embraced that.
Hey, and he already. I don't know if you guys heard, but when they had the NBA All-Star game, LeBron just kind of out of nowhere gave props to the Oklahoma City Thunder's GM and was saying how, I forgot his name. You guys,
Sam Presti.
Yeah, he was like Sam Presti. I mean, if you guys seen what he's done, I love the guy. He's made such great moves. He was just talking so good about him. And then like 2 days later on SportsCenter, they're like, LeBron talking this good about Sam Presti. Like, he's like, I'd love to play with him and blah blah. I mean, he's talking a lot, so it could happen.
Imagine the Pelicans draft Bronny, and they say you took AD from us. Now you come play for us.
But he embraced that too, because it's not bad. We need him to come to the Magic. That's it. LeBron to Orlando Magic.
Who is your favorite?
Nah, I know where he's going. I know where he's gonna end up. He's gonna end up in Portland.
Send him to the Celtics. Ooh, when he quit the first time before he went to the Eagles. Or no, man, the way things go in a crazy world, he end up with the freaking Hornets, so he could play with Jordan.
Yep.
That's exactly what's gonna happen.
Yep.
You know that.
Yep. That's the way the NBA would do it.
Yeah, that's the way you script it. But all in all, it'll be interesting to see. We're gonna wrap up in 2 seconds here. Yeah, of course. Yes, of course. The chat is where it's at, Daniel. Whenever you see anyone addressing the chat, as long as they're respectful, you're more than welcome to engage.
Yeah, man.
They make the show go.
Gideon. I'm a wherever LeBron goes, that's the team I go with. If he's on the Detroit Pistons, I am a Detroit Pistons fan. So I'm diehard LeBron fan.
We respect that.
So Gideon, you got yourself someone that's gonna come on with you. If Daniel, as his schedule allows, will come back for the G Money Hoop Show. They're gonna break down the first play-in, and the bold prediction of the rest of the first round of the playoffs, the matchups, the juicy matchups that's going to be aroused. Who's going to be ninth? Who's going to be eighth? Who's going to be seventh? Who went home? Who got fired? Who didn't get fired? Who's healthy? Who's not healthy? Is going to be interesting. Tune in Friday. Here we'll be on. We'll see the time slot because I probably do the Yankee watch along with the Orioles, or maybe I just not do the Yankee game that night and do Saturday night since they're gonna play Saturday night. But all in all, we'll check the schedule. We'll definitely hit that like, hit that notification bell. Also, you can hear us on all the audio platforms, Spreaker FM, Google, and Spotify, Apple. Now Amazon Music as well. Now we're able to get into that platform. So anywhere you have a podcast, you put BX Sports JEDI Network, and you have the different shows. You got the MMA with Chef Dan in Austin. You also got the Yankees. It's over Yanks with Michael Caputo. Salute to Michael Caputo, was on WFAN this morning, and we have it there. If you go to the community portion, I posted it. Thanks to Pope of Sports and Michael Caputo with Sal Licata going one-on-one there, asking questions and ranting about why he thinks the Yankee season is over. So good plug for the program, for the network, for our main man, Michael Caputo, man. I get up at 4 a.m. and he's on the fan, man. That was cool to hear him, Caputo, on there. So it was awesome to see that. And guys, thank you guys again for this. So don't forget, hit those likes, please. Let us know feedback. We're more than happy to have Daniel, Dan the Man, with us now, part of the network, breaking down NBA basketball. It's going to be fun because he loves the game of basketball, and you can tell. And LeBron James and anything that not just LeBron James, the NBA itself. And it's always good to surround ourselves with great minds, and of course, always family. So when you always go to the family, so definitely appreciate him here again. Daniel, close us out. Say a few words, and the floor is yours.
Man, I just appreciate you guys bringing me on here. It's great to talk to you guys. Anytime we get to talk about sports and just get together, it's great. Great for the community, great for mentally, for everybody to talk with everything going on right now. Can't wait for the next time we all talk. Can't wait for Friday night when we all talk about what's going to happen, what the predictions for the play, and let's see what turns out and what happens. We had our predictions for the 7th and 8th seed. We had some said Clippers, some said Hawks, some said the Hornets. So we're going to see what happens, man. It's an exciting season this year. I'm glad to talk to all you guys that are here on this live stream.
All right. And Chef Dan, of course, your pound of flesh here, my main man. Close us out, and we'll run the intro.
Very dope talking to play-ins. It's going to be some very interesting matchups. If you're a basketball nerd and just love the sport itself, it's going to be very exciting. You're going to see certain results that you may not have agreed with, but the game is decided that way on the court. We're excited for it. I'm here for it. And let's go straight to the play-in.
Playoffs? You talk about playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just want to win a play-in game. Later, guys.